We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Iran strikes at Israel. The Dockworkers strike continues. The VP candidates debate and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Approximately 180 missiles, most of which were intercepted, were fired at Israel from Iran last night as millions of Israelis took cover in bomb shelters. A U.S. defense official said Navy destroyers in the Mediterranean Sea helped Israel shoot down the missiles. There were no reports of casualties in Israel except for one Palestinian man killed by falling shrapnel in the West Bank. Around the same time the missiles were launched, 6 people were killed and others were injured in a shooting near Tel Aviv that Israeli police described as a terrorist attack. Iran said the missile attack was retaliation for Israel's assassination of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Israel vowed a significant response. Photos of Syrians celebrating the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah last week put the spotlight on the brutal activities of the terror group's role in sex slavery, mass starvation, and kidnappings in the Syrian civil war, which led to the deaths of over 500,000 Syrians. Walid Fares, a leading expert on Hezbollah and Lebanon, stated that Hezbollah has committed ethnic cleansing in Syria. He said Hezbollah was behind the uprooting of millions of Syrians of all communities, mainly Sunni. They have perpetuated rape. They have perpetuated mass sexual abuse, including keeping sexual slaves. Israel's targeted assassination of Nasrallah last weekend has prompted greater interest in the inner workings of the Shiite terrorist organization that is widely considered the de facto ruler over Lebanon. Tim Walz and J.D. Vance squared off in the VP debate. In what is likely the final debate of the 2024 campaign, the vice presidential contenders kept things civil and policy-focused, channeling most of their attacks to the candidates' running mates at the top of the ticket, not each other. Walz appeared nervous in the early stages of the night, but grew stronger when the topic turned to abortion and reproductive rights. Vance was a polished speaker across the 90 minutes of the debate. The campaigns are now in a sprint to the finish. Roughly 5 weeks remain until Election Day, and millions of Americans can now cast their ballots. Roughly 47,000 dock workers, a part of the International Longshoremen's Association, have stopped unloading containers in a debilitating strike that, depending on how long it lasts, could damage the U.S. economy, raise prices, and cost as much as $5 billion a day, according to J.P. Morgan estimates. Referring to the union's ability to block imports and threaten the U.S. economy if an agreement isn't reached, the ILA's chief negotiator, Harold Daggett, said last month, "I will cripple you." While the union is digging its heels in for a pay bump, it wants a 77% wage increase over 6 years. The core rift between the workers and the ports is over automation. Port operators want to move into full automation, using cranes and trucks to move containers, and say that it would reduce the number of workers needed in what is considered a dangerous, chaotic, and physically taxing job, as well as lower costs on consumer goods, as well as the raw materials American manufacturers need. Dock workers view these machines as a direct threat to their livelihoods and want ports to agree to a ban on automation. In 2020, More than half of the dock workers at the Port of New York and New Jersey earned more than $150,000, with 20% of them making over $250,000 a year. Finally, on a sad note, John Amos, the TV writer turned Emmy-nominated actor who starred as the stoic father on Good Times before he was fired for letting his temper get the best of him, has died. He was 84 years old. Amos died August 21st in Los Angeles of natural causes, his son Casey Amos announced. Amos, who played football at Colorado State University and had training camp tryouts with the Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs of the American Football League, saw his show business career take off after he landed a role of WJM TV weatherman Gordie Howard on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. That's The Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.